All rise and shout.
What?
It's time for What's Trending. Welcome a new era of BYU men's basketball.
Our new head men's basketball coach, Kevin Young.
Once I realized how special this place was, it became easier and easier. It's crazy to hear. I mean, the hype video had me hype. I was ready to get these guys running suicides and get to it right now.
Let's get to it right now.
Let's go.
That message last night, live on BYU TV from new men's basketball coach Kevin Young. And for the first time, for about, I want to say 15 or 20 minutes, Coach Young addressed BYU players and fans, whether in person at the Marriott Center, Jarom, or certainly for the thousands of you who were watching live last night.
I thought it was millions. Was I off on that?
Millions of you who were watching on a live special edition of BYU Sports Nation. If you missed any of it, look, we got your back. That's what we do. We're going to play back his opening remarks. So again, if you missed it, pay attention now. If you didn't miss it, you probably want to listen again. Kevin Young's introductory remarks live on BYU Sports Nation right now.
Wow, this is exciting for me and my family. Just I don't know, when you're doing everything on the phone and you're not here to feel the energy and just feel this building. When you step foot in here, even my kids, that this place is going to be rocking. We're going to get this thing rolling. So excited to be here. I really want to first start by thanking a couple people, Brian and Tom, President Reese, Keith, that foursome. When we met, it got clear pretty quickly that this was going to be something that me and my wife were going to have to make an amazing decision to join. And it became obvious pretty quickly as we were talking about how amazing this place is. And I'll speak to that a little bit more, but I really want to thank you four guys in particular as we went through the process. As President mentioned, I got a lot of my family here. I want to first thank my wife. She's been my rock for 13 years, and the coaching world is one that's not easy on families. It's not easy raising little ones, and we got 3 of them. Jude, Van, and Zoe have been right there with us for a good majority of it. So excited that they're here with us too. And then my mom and dad and all my siblings are here as well. So I'm one of 6, and even Aaron, what's up, dude? Haven't seen you. Even BYU alum, I might add. So he's here. Meg, hey, and a couple of my nieces too. So it's a really special day for our family. And we certainly don't take it lightly. So I also want to thank a few other people that have been really instrumental in me getting here. You know, James Jones and Matt Ishpugh with the Phoenix Suns, and Coach Vogel, who I'm working for now, Monty Williams, who's been a huge mentor of mine and is an outstanding guy. And funny enough, opened up every meeting with an opening prayer. True story for the last couple years in Phoenix, so pretty used to that. Brett Brown, who hired me in Philadelphia, is one of my greatest mentors. And a couple of people that got me to Utah in the first place, Brant Anderson and Joe Brown. Coach Hunsaker at Utah Valley, who I worked for, and then so many other people that I can get to, but I definitely want to shout that group out. Where I really want to start this thing with is the players. Okay, you guys were the first ones I saw when I got into this building. The things that you guys were able to, I just told all of them so in the locker room, the things you guys were able to accomplish first year in the Big 12, absolutely remarkable. Cannot wait to have every one of you guys back in a BYU uniform and get to it. That was one, yes, let's give that up. And so that, make no mistake about it, that's my first priority is those guys, and I've already started building relationships with those guys, and we're going to take that part of it to a whole nother level. That's, if anybody, I've learned anything in the NBA, it's about, this whole thing is about relationships. I've been able to build some with some of the best players in the world. I'm currently still working with those guys and hoping to take them to somewhere they haven't been yet in this playoff run, but that's what it's all about, is those relationships. So those guys heard me talk about it a few minutes ago and look forward to that. With that being said, this is a new challenge for me. You know, I've been on a different side of basketball all of my career, and as I went through the process, getting to this decision, the excitement I had for the new challenge at hand in terms of transitioning to the college world, coming from the world I was in, got me extremely excited the more I started to wrap my head around what that looks like. And the thing that really moved the needle for me and my wife was the environment that we're going to be doing it in here at BYU. What this university stands for, what the mission of this university is. I'm a lifelong member of the church, so to be able to do what I love at the highest level from a career standpoint and blend that with my faith and being able to do it with my wife and my 3 little ones, that's why we came here, okay? That's why we came here. And that's really special. So on top of that, man, the thing that's blown me away is just the level of support from the athletic department, from the university, from many people, the resources that this place has, the fact that it's in the Big 12, the highest level of college basketball. There was a lot of things that played a role into me coming here, and that was one of the big ones. Just a couple other things I wanted to hit on before we move on to some of the questions was, I just want to make it clear that I coming from my background and talking to the players, you know, a lot of guys have, not a lot, all of them have ambition to play in the NBA, and I think with my background, this is an amazing place, has been for a long time. What I want to do to take it to the next level is make this place the best place in college basketball to prepare young men to play in the NBA, and I think with my background, I think we're going to be able to get that done, and I really look forward to doing that. What I've also learned really quickly is because of the history of this school and this program and what you guys have been able to accomplish long before I showed up, in addition with the resources, in addition to what the reputation of this school is, players want to play here. I've learned that quickly. Players want to play here and coaches want to coach here. And I'm in the process now of putting together a staff, talking to a lot of different people. This is a very desirable place to be. I look forward to teaming up with a lot of elite people that we're going to get in here to do this thing together. And with that, let's go Cougs.
Kevin Young winning over the crowd last night at the Marriott Center. Jarom, briefly, because we'll get into more of this in depth in about 10 minutes.
And for the next 7 months.
Indeed. What were your initial reactions to his opening statement?
Very excited. I liked what I heard on and off the court in terms of ambition and why he's here, which we'll get into in a couple of minutes a little more. But I liked his talking to the players, wanting to recruit them. Dallin Hall was in the crowd, certainly in the portal. You want to get Dallin Hall back. If you can't keep a Dallin Hall and Richie Saunders, what are we doing around here? Because these guys are BYU guys. Let's keep them here.
I thought that was paramount. That was number one for me. And that's why those in attendance were clapping, because it is such a stressful time, right? Yeah. When you're trying to keep that core together and maintain all of this positive momentum that BYU has going. Yes, it starts with who you already have in the building. And I know that people are like, well, yeah, no duh, he would say that. But still, like, you still have to say it and present it in a way that people receive it well, and they did.
And he was telling the crowd, because he had already talked to the players the day before or 2 days before on Zoom, and then he was talking to them yesterday before the press conference.
Yes.
In fact, he had
some
one-on-ones. So he was already talking to those guys. That was to tell everybody publicly, yes, I want this team back. You guys were awesome last year. Let's get you back. And, of course, he didn't say this, but let's add to it. Let's increase the talent. Let's get some guys in the portal. Let's develop.
Yes, this is clearly a lifestyle change that he wants.
Yeah.
More time with the family. You see what a family man he is and how much that matters to him. And I heard 86 nights on the road with the Phoenix Suns this year. 86 nights away from home is a lot.
That is a lot.
It's not going to be that many with BYU. It'll still be busy, but it will be fewer nights away from home than 86.
Yeah, and financially it's beneficial in terms of your per-game average of financially and whatnot. So, yeah, it makes total sense. After his press conference, he spoke one-on-one with our Jason Shepard.
Coach, congratulations and welcome to BYU. I know fans are thrilled that you're here and will be coaching this new basketball team. And I know the last couple of days have been crazy. Can you put into words what the last 48 hours or more have been like for you and your family?
It's been a whirlwind. The level of excitement in the Young household is off the charts. The thing for me that was amazing was just to see the look on my 10-year-old's face when I told him what we were doing. He was super excited. The amount of communication with my network of people, my phone. I've literally been on the phone every waking hour. It's been pretty cool.
When you think about the opportunity that you and your family have, what made this opportunity the right one for you?
Just the family atmosphere, honestly, and the mission of the school tied in with being able to, coach at the highest level of college basketball. It just felt like the best fit for our family at this time, and we just couldn't fight that feeling.
You mentioned during your press conference that you've heard from a lot of people. You've got a lot of current players, a lot of former players, coaches, people that are very influential with BYU basketball here to support you tonight. What does something like that mean to you to have them here to support you?
Yeah, honestly, it's overwhelming. The history that this place has, so many good players that have come through here. Honestly, it's humbling to just, I don't know, I'm just a guy that's kind of made my way through the ranks of coaching, and to be able to have this much support is a humbling experience.
I think a lot of people are curious as to why you're in the NBA now. Why go from the NBA to college? Because a lot of people think you go from college to the NBA. So why was this decision right?
Timing in life is everything, and the NBA is great. There's a lot of amazing players, but it's a hard lifestyle. There's not a lot of stability in it, and as a dad of 3 young children and a wife that's been doing this with me forever, as the more we got to took it to the drawing board, we really felt like it was the best of 3 worlds. 1, we could coach at an extremely high level. 2, we get to be together as a family a bit more, and then 3, like I said, we get to do it all with the backing of the school and in the church, and that fits our belief system, and it was just an amazing fit.
What type of communication have you been able to have with current players, and what was the message that you wanted to get across to them?
Yeah, it's been, well, first of all, the level of communication has been awesome. I've talked to all the guys. I've met with FaceTime with the whole group. I just met them all in the locker room. I've been on the phone with basically all of them over the last couple of days. The main message is I want those guys here. They're a good basketball team together. The thing that has been made to me very obvious with the group is they like each other. They have a great camaraderie with one another, and you can tell why they were good. And so I'm trying to share with them kind of what my vision is going to look like. It's tough on them because they obviously don't know me, but I'm trying really hard to expedite those relationships and make them feel as comfortable as they can.
You mentioned during the press conference that, during this transition, that you're going to rely heavily on your staff, which you're still trying to put together. Where do things stand with that? Do you have like a timeline that you would like to get it done, or you want to make sure you get the right guys and that'll happen when it happens?
No, it's a combination of both. I mean, I'm down the road with a couple guys, but the big thing is getting the right people in here. And that's what I told the players. I want guys in here that are going to help get them better, that are going to develop them. And, I don't want to rush it, but at the same time, we need boots on the ground. There's no question about it. So, as I mentioned before, there's a lot of coaches that want to come team up with us here. I think they understand what we're going to build on what's already been done here.
We talked about the support that you're seeing from some of the current players and whatnot here in Provo, but over the last 24 hours, we've heard a lot of things from Frank Vogel, and Devin Booker today was talking about you, and I know you guys are close. I know you're close with Chris Paul. What have those relationships meant to you, and what can those continue to mean to you as the head coach at BYU?
Yeah, I mean, the NBA, as we've mentioned before, it's a great league, but I'm not going to miss much other than the relationships, honestly. Be able to forge that tightness of that tight of a relationship, with that level of player. I mean, we're talking about like Hall of Fame level players, perennial all-stars. So to be able to have the relationships I have with those guys is something that I'll miss in terms of the day-to-day. But he's ready to come up and work out with the guys this summer. We'll get him up here to hang, and it's really been cool because Chris Paul is actually one of the first guys that called me. He's like, hey man, I'm coming to BYU. I don't know when, but I'm gonna be up there checking you guys out. So, man, that honestly has been some of the most rewarding things that have happened in this whole thing.
Well, Coach, congratulations once again, and we look forward to working with you over the coming seasons. Thank you so much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Kevin Young with Jason Shepard. What's your impression from more information we learned with Shep there?
That it's wild that he can be like, hey guys, listen, I know I'm your new head coach, but I got to go back and hang out with D-Book, Devin Booker,
Kevin
in the
Durant.
playoffs. Watch what I coach these guys to do on offense, because that's what we're going to try and do at BYU, at least in some part.
Can you be Kevin Durant? Can you be Devin Booker? No. I think all of us, Cougar Nation, are going to be watching the Suns
very closely,
way more than we would have been casually, unless you're a Suns fan, right? And so we'll watch how that offense flows. And he talked about in the press conference the defense that he said, I've been able to scheme against high-level defenses on offense, and I know what those defenses look like when they're successful.
And what they do.
And both sides of the ball. Now he's the head guy. He's been a head coach before, but it's been a hot minute since he was in the G League. And so here we go. I'm stoked, man. It's going to be exciting. The next couple of weeks and months are exciting with staff, with roster, and so on. And I really liked what he said about we're down the road with a couple of guys, but we got to do it quick, but make the right move. We got to get boots on the ground.
Yes.
He's busy.
That's the phrase.
He's at least busy for the next 9 days, Spencer. Maybe 10, I think. All the way up to June if the Suns make a run.
What if the Suns advance?
He needs them, he needs boots on the ground now, regardless of what happens there, because the next week or two is very important.
Not only is it really cool that he has the capability to pull from the Phoenix Suns and those relationships there to have his guys watch that and like benefit from that, but yes, the other phrase that he mentioned a few times was, and you just said it, boots on the ground.
Yeah.
He is going to need to rely heavily on whoever his assistants are for however long this playoff run goes. It's going to be on them a lot. So that makes it even more critical to get those guys in place immediately. I was glad to hear that they are down the road with a few guys.
Yeah.
And BYU, remember, they could have hired an additional assistant coach last year if they wanted to.
There's 5 spots open for any staff. There's some limitations on like 1 or 2 of those regarding recruiting and travel in season and whatnot. But it'd be great if BYU would fill out all 5. And I'd love Eric Mika to be one of them.
Yeah.
I really would. I don't know what the relationship is relative to Kevin or people close to Eric, but Eric was there last night, hopefully pining for a position.
Sure. Kevin Young's got apparently an eye on a guy at Stanford. Chris Burgess, his name has been floating around.
I would love Burge, as we talked about, as an AHC.
Our question of the day is this. What is your first impression of Kevin Young from his press conference?
Where's the beard?
I had more than a few people text me something similar to or to the effect of, could not be a better fit for BYU. Is that how you feel?
Like low-key, kind of cool customer, right? Little different. I like that a lot.
Jeremiah_Hale on X says, yeah, seems like the kind of guy I'd want to have a root beer with.
A root beer with.
Mark Pope.
This is BYU.
He continues, Mark Pope is the kind of guy who brings energy to stimulate results. Young is focused on the results because that's what energizes him.
Different approaches. Everyone handles, different energy different. Like Kalani Sitake, when he enters the stadium, is different than Kalani Sitake on the coach show on Tuesday nights. You know what I mean? Like different parts of you are there. But yeah, he's a cool customer, man. He's been in the NBA Finals. A press conference at BYU ain't no thing.
He's been there, done that for sure. He understands pressure situations.
Yep.